We're looking at about 150 people, and they're all just going to say hi to you and clap, so you can hear that we are actually in front of a crowd. A crowd. Yeah.
Hello, Don. This is Vicki Davis. We've talked a couple.
Hi, Vicki.
We appreciate you supporting the efforts to connect students around the globe, and including the Horizon Project in your most recent book, Grown Up Digital. And we were hoping you might tell us about the Net Generation Education Challenge, so that all the educators in the room could know about it, and sort of what you set up there. And I'm going to mute our mic so that we don't get an echo. So if it sounds like we're not here, we actually are. So if you would tell us a little bit about the Net Generation Education Challenge, we would appreciate that.
Okay, well, thanks very much, and I hope you can hear me okay. I'm actually in Munich at a conference called DLD, that stands for Digital Living and Design, and it's a very interesting event. There's about 1,000 people here, I guess, and I just finished giving a talk. I'm delighted to be able to chat with all of you, because I have a great admiration for the Horizon Project and for all the hard work that you folks do. Thank you very much for that. I don't think there's any more important challenge than transforming our schools and models of learning for relevance and effectiveness for the 21st century. Yes, as you know, I have a new book. It's called Grown Up Digital. This is the sequel to a book I wrote a dozen years ago called Growing Up Digital. And I'm very excited about the book. And one of the most important constituencies for it is the educational constituency, because I'm convinced that we have a new generation around the world that have grown up interacting and collaborating. And the old model of learning, which is one way, one size fits all, broadcast, teacher-focused, with the student isolated in the learning process, this model is inappropriate for the 21st century. So what I've decided to do is to hold a contest, and I understand I'm partnering with you, so I think that's really great on this. And the contest is at grownupdigital.com, and if you go there, you'll find it. And essentially, I put out a challenge to create a short, say 2-minute video on what would you do to transform the model of learning to make it effective for this new generation of young people and to make it appropriate for the 21st century. And I don't want to shape it too much, because I'm really interested in finding out what the world thinks about this. We've got some good prizes, including a final prize for the winner of $1,000 to go towards your personal lifelong learning project, whether you're a teacher or a student or whatever, or anybody. And also a full webinar given by me to your organization or school or whatever. I suppose the alleged commercial value of something like that is about $30,000 US. So we got some kind of serious prizes going on here. I know that you folks involved in the Horizon Project have thought about all of these issues very deeply, and I'm getting that I'm going to get some killer videos through you and through your network, and I'm so excited about receiving those. And of course, the goal here is not simply for somebody to win some money. The goal is to really help us expand these ideas about the transformation of learning, and also to come up with and to invent some new models. So why don't I stop it there? I don't know if it's possible to take questions, but I'd just like to thank you all.
Well, we're very excited, and as you know, we're renaming the Horizon Project the Net Generation Education Challenge, so that we can work together and really talk about how education needs to transform. The students and the educators here have been using project-based learning, have been talking about how the world has been flattening through Web 2.0 tools, and it's just been very exciting. I was hoping that we might have a student who could just kind of go ahead and just share with you something that they think happens when you start connecting students around the world. We've really had some exciting things happen. Is there anybody that would like to share what you think about flattening the classrooms and what you've seen happen here. Do we have any of our students in particular who would like to kind of come over here for a moment? You got to come up here to the laptop. Anybody?
I'm sure I appear very scary as this giant face on the screen, but
we're actually recording, so we don't have your giant face here right now. So come on down. We have students from so many different countries. It's been very exciting to see. They've actually already got some videos about ways that they would like students to collaborate to solve some of the world's global social issues. And this is one of the students that has been part of one of those teams. So come on and tell them who you are and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Nastasia. I'm from Australia. And I think one of the biggest things we've learned is how important this whole experience is, and how communication is one of the ways of the future, and how we're learning how to use it now. And I think that's a big step towards, as we've learned to solve various issues in the world and bring cultures together to learn about each other.
Oh, that's great.
You talk about in Wikinomics about the New Alexandrians, and we really have a lot of them here who've really been collaborating. The students have been leaders and doing some great things. Do we have anything else anybody would like to share or ask? I know a couple people have read. Who else? Come on down. If you're raising your hand, just run on down, because Mr. Tapscott's very busy, so we want to use his time well. Okay? Tell who you are, where you're from.
Hello, it's Abdullah Shakarti from Iraq. I think that students are not going to learn anything about cultures just by looking it up in a textbook or even seeing a bunch of videos online. The only way students are really going to learn about other cultures is by being there and collaborating with other students, virtually or in conferences like this one. That's it.
Great. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
We have so many students from so many different cultures. It's just been very profound. Would you like to pick that?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Tapscott. My name is Frank Gutler. I'm one of the facilitators for the Flat Classroom Conference. I was the coordinator of the video strand. It's good to meet you, sir. My question is, one of the video teams put together a proposal that has to do with micro-lending in the third world, and how they can engage with that concept as young people and connecting with other people. And I figure the author of Wikinomics would probably be a good person to give them some advice in that arena.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is that the world has definitely moved towards the micro. You look at something like Barack Obama's campaign, where he became elected basically raising money by the $5 and $10 and $15 amounts. Can you hear me okay? I'm getting a kind of funny feedback.
We'll go on mute. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I don't mind as long as you can hear me okay. So, I mean, yes, this is a wonderful time where we now have this new global medium of human communications where people can participate in the economy in ways that were previously unthinkable. And sometimes you don't need $100 million to get something going. You need a tiny amount of money. And opportunities for microfinancing, I think, and the demand for it are just going to continue to grow.
Don, what do you think will happen if education systems do not change to appropriately teach the net generations, the net geners? What do you think are the consequences for education? Because, there's so much focus on test scores right now that it's very difficult to get schools to put in global collaborative projects because they say they have to study for their tests. So do you have any thoughts on the consequences of not collaborating and learning about mass collaboration and using it in their curriculum?
Well, the consequences are severe, and what will happen is that the formal education system will get bypassed. That's already happening in the universities, where in the U.S., the thing for all the smartest kids is to get an A and have never gone to any of the lectures. So we need to reinvent education for relevance and effectiveness, and if we don't, somebody else is going to do it. You know, and the thing about test scores really disturbs me a lot, because when young people graduate today, it's very different than when I graduated. When I graduated, I was set for life, and there were these institutions of learning and institutions of work, and you went to the institution of learning and you got a degree, and then you kept up in your chosen field. Well, today when you graduate, you're not set for life. You're set for about 15 minutes. And if you took a technical course, half of what you learned in the first year is obsolete by the time you get to the fourth year. So we need to reinvent our knowledge base multiple times throughout our lives. And not only that, what counts when you graduate is not how well you can perform on tests. What counts is your ability to think and to collaborate and to solve problems and to communicate and to reinvent your knowledge base to learn lifelong. And we do a great disservice by focusing solely on testing. Of course, there's a role for educational testing. I actually have a master's degree in ed psych. That was how I got started over 30 years ago, was as a educational tester. And there's a role for tests, but the system can't focus on that. And the consequences of producing kids who can perform well on tests but who can't think and communicate would be devastating for every economy or every country where this perspective is taken. I'm very hopeful that President Obama is going to turn the situation around, and that he's someone, unlike the previous administration, his administration is capable of understanding what needs to be done to transform the schools.
What do you say to the educators who might tell you, you know, how dare you ask students what they want education to look like? You know, we're the experts and we know. Why are you going directly to the students? And what is your answer to the educators who say, you know, why do you want to ask, you know, quote, them? Why do you want to ask the students? So what would you say to those educators who would make a statement like that?
Well, this is the first time in human history when children are an authority about something really important. I was an authority about model trains when I was a kid, and today the 11-year-old at the breakfast table is an authority on this digital revolution that's changing business, commerce, government, learning, education, every institution in society. And the most powerful force to change the schools and the universities are the students. And every single situation I've ever seen whereby a big transformation took place in a school or a university or an educational system, the students were deeply involved. So I get brought in by, you know, ministers of education and presidents of universities and so on, and they want to seek my advice. You know what I do now? I tell them, I'm not prepared to meet with you unless you bring along some students, because they're the ones who are going to explain how young people learn and what the new model of pedagogy is. There's an amazing story in Grown Up Digital in the last chapter about this. A young lad who was brought in along with me to talk to the head of all the deans of Florida State University. And he really shocked them with the stuff that he was saying about just how he accesses information. He was saying that he actually doesn't read books in a conventional sense. And in case you're wondering if this guy is a loser, he actually is going to London. He's in London now doing a Master's of Philosophy at Oxford University, and he's a Rhodes Scholar. He got the Rhodes Scholarship. So this is a time of big change, and we need to listen to young people and listen to the students. In their culture, in the corporation, is the new culture of work. In their behavior as citizens is the new model of democracy. And in their model of learning, we'll find the new model of pedagogy. We have to listen to young people, which is why it's so important what you're doing. I'm going to have to go now, but I did want to say one thing about the project. Please, you know, come on and participate. And if any of you are on Twitter, you can check me out at Tapscott on Twitter. And also, I have an open offer that if you read Grown Up Digital and you review the book on Amazon.com, send me an email or let me know it on Twitter. Or my email is just don@tapscott.com, and I will send you a personalized copy of the book, autographed to you. So I hope you find both the challenge and also the book and the work that I've been doing very helpful, and I'm so thankful for all the great stuff that you guys are doing. Please keep it up.
Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your willingness to actually go directly to the students and to involve them and just sharing with all of us and helping us understand what's happening in our society. So let's give Don a round of applause for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.